thank you for giving up a beautiful day to come and join us here. Your energy definitely has already given me strength and hope, and I hope it's filling all of you with hope as well. It really fuels a fight that we've been pulled into. We've been forced into this fight. Also, thanks to the elected officials who are here with us today. Their presence really is helpful, and it matters a lot, especially to have bipartisan support. My name is Amy Hewitt, and I direct the Institute on Community Integration at the University of Minnesota. Thank you. I'm also the sister-in-law to Nathan, who receives home and community-based services, and we help him to direct those services. You showed up today, I know, because you care about all humanity. You're here because, like me, you've probably had enough. Let's be clear about this. We're facing an all-out assault on people with disabilities, their families, their allies, and frankly, our entire communities. Why are we here? We're here because we know our communities are better when we're all included. We all belong. We all belong. As I teach my students and staff, follow the money. It reveals the priorities, the values, and the moral compass of those who create it. I've read every single word in the leaked U.S. Department of Health and Human Services budget proposal, and yesterday the official letter from the President regarding discretionary spending, which I will tell you gave me no comfort. The word eliminated is used throughout. It's a blanket attempt to annihilate critical supports for people with disabilities. This proposal would wipe out the very infrastructure that supports people with disabilities to live in their communities. It eliminates the administration on community living, all programs under the Developmental Disabilities Act, like the Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities, the Minnesota Disability Law Center, university centers like ICA, projects of national significance that drive innovation. It also cuts vital research on community living. Combined with anticipated Medicaid cuts, this threatens decades of progress, ensuring that people with disabilities can have full lives in their communities as promised by both state and federal law.
Yeah.
Why do our laws promise this? Because we know our communities are better when we're all included. We all belong. I'm proud of our work at ICI. For more than 40 years, we've helped create a Minnesota where people with disabilities are supported to live, learn, work, and thrive. For those unfamiliar with our work, ICI conducts groundbreaking research. We deliver statewide and national training. We translate new knowledge into real-world improvements across education, healthcare, employment, and community living. From our early autism diagnosis work in rural areas to inclusive classrooms and workforce training, our work makes real change. Programs like the Research and Training Center on Community Living, Check and Connect, Positive Supports ensure that Minnesotans of all abilities can live, learn, work, and thrive in their communities. Why do we do this work? Because we know our communities are better when we're all included. We all belong. ICI delivers a remarkable return on investment. We bring in nearly $50 back to Minnesota for every federal dollar invested in our core services. This fuels systems change, it empowers families, it strengthens providers, and shapes public policy. Our initiatives like Direct Course, the Minnesota Autism and Developmental Disabilities Project, our Tele-Outreach Center reach every corner of our state. These investments have paid off. Since the DD Act was put into law, we've moved from custodial institutions being the only option and the only service for people to a service system that embraces full community-based programs. These are truths I know. Families are stronger when they include somebody with a disability. My two sons are better human beings because they grew up learning from and loving their Uncle Nathan. When people with disabilities live in our communities, we know that they are more likely to have jobs, and they do pay taxes. They are more likely to join sports teams, and some are excellent baseball players. They are more likely to fall in love, get married, and build lasting relationships. They're more likely to practice their faith, and they have opportunities to learn new skills such as cooking, cleaning, skydiving, reading, and writing poems. We must protect community living. This means fighting back against officials trying to gut these programs just to give tax breaks to billionaires. Why do we need to fight? Because enough is enough. The community is ours, and we understand that our communities are better when we're all included, because we all belong.
We all belong!
We do. Sadly, Nathan chose not to attend today, really for his own wellness, because he struggles so much right now with this administration. But he sent this message and asked me to share it with you. This is a national emergency. We have someone who is hell-bent on destroying the country and the world. We have never been in a place like this before, and drastic steps need to be made to save the United States of America from destruction within. Congress and everyone else needs to put their big boy pants on and do the right thing. People need to stop being afraid of him. Thanks, Nathan. I also want to share a poem with you that I think captures what we're really fighting for and against in our communities. The title of this poem is Advice to Daughter, and it's written by Thomas Robinson and published by Cow Tipping Press. Be nice to people. Don't be mean to people. Be nice to your elders. Be nice to people with disabilities. Be an advocate for yourself. Always be on time. Sometimes be late. Always hold your hand when you cross the street. Don't jaywalk. Don't hurt other people. Be positive, and don't let evil beast destroy you. My commitment to you is this. ICI will fight to deliver exceptional leadership across all communities in Minnesota and vital research data to fuel your advocacy. And we will fight to keep the promise we've made to Minnesotans that they have a right to live in their community. We have made way too much progress. We can't go backwards to institutions. Why? Because we know communities are better when we're all included. We all belong. Make your voices as loud as you possibly can and be relentless in contacting all of your elected officials and make sure 10 of your neighbors are doing the same thing. Thank you.
I am going to turn it over next to Jenny Arndt, Vice Chair of the Minnesota Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities, one of the programs that would also be cut if the proposed slashes in funding go through.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina. Wow, look at this crowd. This is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and fellow advocates, I stand before you today with a deep sense of urgency and determination, not only as a mother, but as also someone who has spent the last 13 years advocating for the educational rights of my children. I come from Waseca County in southern Minnesota, where I'm raising kids with autism, intellectual disabilities, ADHD, and dyslexia. My journey has not been easy, the challenges that I have faced underscore the urgent need for the programs that we are here to support today. However, I have also seen the transformative power of these programs. They provide the critical services and empower people with developmental disabilities to lead whole and meaningful lives. This is the positive impact that we can have with the funding and support that is required. Through legal advocacy, capacity building, and most importantly, listening to those in need. These programs equip families like mine with the tools, information, and support necessary to make the decisions about where our children live, work, and grow. These services ensure that people with developmental disabilities and their families are not left to navigate a broken system alone. As a mother with children with disabilities, I understand the challenges all too well. For years, I have struggled to secure the special education services for my children. Our school district has repeatedly failed us. My child lost 5 years of special education services because we were unaware of the entitlement to the services that he was entitled. This is why early intervention is crucial. It can prevent losses and ensure that children with disabilities receive the education that they deserve. We've encountered discrimination as teachers and district officials have presumed incompetence simply because my child has a disability. Let me make this clear. Having a disability does not mean that a child cannot learn. It does not mean that we should lower our expectations. I refuse to accept that my child's potential be diminished simply because of the assumptions others make about him. We have also witnessed segregation. My child was excluded from a school trip due to behavioral outburst. Something that could have been avoided with the proper support and understanding, such as a trained aide or a personalized behavior plan. The most heartbreaking and alarming incidents occurred when a special education teacher removed my son from a classroom, made him sit in the hallway, labeling him too much. This could have been prevented with better teacher training and more inclusive culture. There was a time during his third grade year, after a behavioral outburst, when my child was locked in an unauthorized seclusion room. He was left there screaming and banging on a door, crying to be left out, which resulted in PTSD, severe anxiety, and regression. This could have been avoided with the proper crisis intervention training and the use of positive behavior support plans. We have faced numerous violations of our rights, being denied informed consent, assistive technology, the right to be fully involved in my child's education and decision making. Our school district has failed to uphold the promises of IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. And it took us over a year, thousands of dollars, and an exhausting legal battle to obtain the justice that we deserve. This is my story, but it is not my fight alone. It is the fight of countless families across this state. It is unacceptable that we must go to such extremes to ensure that our children receive the basic rights that they are entitled to under the law. Families should not be responsible to be fighting tooth and nail to secure the education that their children need to learn and grow. Today, I challenge our legislators to fulfill their ethical and moral duty to continue to fund the programs that provide the necessary legal advocacy and resources that are desperately needed for the state and local levels for families and individuals with developmental disabilities. Thank you for hearing my truth. Thank you so much, Jenny. Next up, I'd like to introduce Jonathan Murray, a self-advocate, a community leader in disability and autistic community.
Access is love. Nothing about us without us, or everything about you without you. Together we choose our disabled future. Which will you build? Think of who you love. Consider your future with them. A future including disability, which touches most families and will touch yours. What disabled future are you building? What future do you dream of? This isn't hypothetical. This is your family, your community, your future. Answering these demands, stepping outside of comfort, feeling the weight of navigating systems not built for you. Without that understanding, efforts fail. It's like writing a Star Wars story if you've never seen the movies. Our disability systems, including Medicaid, often lack our lived experience. They fail disabled people facing intersecting barriers, intensified by race, gender, economics, and living in rural counties, where the compounding costs of the disability taxes are added to by travel time. Those hidden extra costs in time, money, and energy just to navigate an inaccessible world. We are excluded from designing the systems meant to support us. These policies don't just fail us. They fail you in human services, burning with hope, horrified by the gap between good intentions and harmful impact. Blame gets misplaced onto those people, needing bootstraps they don't have. We are here, disabled, autistics, allies, caregivers, terrified yet resolved. We must transform Medicaid, not just save it. The social contract is broken, and its failures inflict harm every single day. As we grow Medicaid, the supposed safety net strangles opportunity and mandates poverty for healthcare, sometimes killing with good intentions codified into bad rules. This broken contract treats us as an unfunded mandate. Those people expected to be poor, if not disabled, expected to bear the crushing disability tax while navigating our krypton, the non-negotiable reality that disability alters our relationship with standardized time. This system forces impossible choices, healthcare or work, independence or poverty. It demands conformity, ignoring our worth and potential. But we can build a different future, envision the disability tax addressed, possibly deductible, freeing resources we need to thrive, needing a strong web of interdependence, and leaving the lonely bootstrap myth to unravel. Disability policy led by disabled expertise, communities understanding krypton and fostering inclusion, and neurodiversity celebrated as a strength that drives innovation and helps discuss uncomfortable truths. This isn't charity, it's investment. The International Labor Organization, ILO, found over 60% of disabled people here want to work. We're innovative problem solvers. Because we navigate a world not built for us. Basic math enabling just 70% on waivers who want jobs means 29,400 people strengthening our workforce, adding over $240 million in wages annually, even if we're only able to show up half the time. That's talent enriching communities, our sacrifices making your journeys easier. This future is achievable. Change the social contract, move beyond sympathy to active solidarity and allyship. Recognize this isn't about those people, it's about everyone's future. Become active allies, amplify our voices, hand us the mic so disabled people lead. Changing systems, attitudes, policy, question ableist assumptions. Support disability-led initiatives and share power. Engage in uncomfortable conversations to build shared understanding. Stand with us, clearing the path. Build a future where access is love, where we show love by removing barriers, ensuring not just an invitation to the table, but an accessible seat. Designing with disabled people, not just for them. A future where this active support is community care, where our children learn not to leave their peers behind, and where everyone builds the future they dream of, embracing disability. What will that disabled future look like when we build it together? Ally is an action, not an identity. Stand with us as leaders who lead from behind, pass us the mic, carry our torch during our quick time, and help us build the world through our shared resolve where no one is left behind. Thank you.
Next up, we're going to hear from Jullian Nelson, Public Policy Director at the Autism Society of Minnesota, another self-advocate and community leader, and what we in the public policy community like to refer to as good trouble.
Hello, family. I'm Jullian Nelson, the Policy Director for the Autism Society of Minnesota, and a proud autistic and disabled adult. Thank you for being here today, for showing up, for standing strong, for making our voices heard. Because right now, make no mistake, they are coming for us, for our funding, for our services, for our supports. Boo! Yes! April was Autism Acceptance Month. Instead of acceptance, our government showed up to tell the world that autistic people will never contribute, that we don't matter, that we should be placed on a registry, and that the lives we live are so horrific, they should be considered an epidemic. That is not our truth. Autistic people, all autistic people, on all parts of the spectrum, are valuable members to our society. We are sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, friends and colleagues. We matter. We are not a crisis to be stopped. We are humans with dreams and goals, with people that care about us, and with so much to give this world. We must stand up and tell our government that they are wrong, that no group of people is an epidemic. We know that what is happening to the autism community today is only the beginning, unless we stop it now. Because when they start chipping away at the rights and supports of one part of our community, it won't stop there. We will not be the only ones. When they come for autistic people, they come next for people with intellectual disabilities, for people with physical disabilities, for people with chronic illness, for people with mental health disabilities. They come for all of us, unless we stand together and say enough. When they talk about cutting Medicaid, they are cutting services that are not luxuries. They are lifelines. They are treating critical supports like therapy, education programs, housing assistance, and personal care as if they're optional. They're acting like our lives, our futures, our families don't matter. And that's why we're here today. That's why we are raising our voices so they cannot ignore us. And we know our power doesn't come from one organization, any one diagnosis, any one group. Our power comes from cross-disability unity. Our power comes from the fact that we show up for each other. Because when they tell one community that their needs are too expensive, we say no one is disposable. When they try to divide us, saying one group deserves support but another doesn't, we will say every life is valuable. And when they try to pit us against each other for scraps, we say we all deserve full funding, full rights, and full respect. We are here not just to fight for ourselves, but for every person with a disability. Every child, every adult, every family member who depends on these supports to live, to learn, to work, to belong. This is about survival. But it's also about dignity, about freedom, about our right to live full, beautiful lives, not hidden away, not left behind, not treated like second-class citizens. And the truth is, we can win. History shows it. Change comes when communities rise up and stand together. Change comes when we recognize that an attack on one is an attack on all of us. Change comes when our voices are united. So today, we send a clear message. We will not be divided. We will not be silent. We will not be erased. We stand for the autism community. We stand for the disability community. We stand for justice. Because cross-disability solidarity, it's not just a strategy, it's a promise. It is a pledge that none of us will fight alone, that we lift each other up, and that together we are unstoppable. We will organize, we will mobilize, we will speak at every hearing, every town hall, every vote. We will remind every politician that disability rights are human rights and human rights are not negotiable. We are here, we are strong, we are united, and we will not back down. Because together we fight, together we rise, and together we win. Thank you.